Hey, this is Rocket Brain Surgeon, and we're looking at how scouts can have a big impact on the game. We are in the Wheezy 131. We are in Erlenberg. I've sped it up just a little bit. I am sitting in a bush on the south side. Not a whole lot has happened up until this point. You can see that there's about a minute and a half that has gone through in the game. The Wheezy 131 has excellent camo. I call it a cloaking device. This thing is crazy. Now I've sped up the replay speed just a little bit as it's not very interesting. It's just doing passive scouting. The reason why I'm doing passive scouting is because it's very early in the game yet and I don't want to reveal my position. Once I fire, I'm going to let everybody know, hey, here I am. And so they'll be pre-aimed on my spot, and they may even take blind shots at this bush, and that's something I really don't want to have happen. I want to keep this bush available as long as I can and allow the people shooting on the hill to get good enough shots. Okay, they're starting their push across the bridge. This is kind of when I want to start shooting, as my position is going to become exposed anyway. The extra distance really doesn't matter that much. I just need to start being a little bit more active. So I get away from the bush. I want to make sure that I go off radar before I get back to this location. I'm using the hill in front of me as a reverse slope so I can hide behind it. The things that I want to shoot, I really don't want to shoot that tortoise. I can't pin him from pretty much any good direction at where I'm at. Even with my heat rounds, they're just not going to do the job. It's not worth exposing myself to even try. However, there is a T25/2 near the tortoise that I absolutely can damage. And there is a Conqueror or a Centurion staring across at my teammate. This is just one of those areas where you have to be patient and let the situation develop. I really can't flank anywhere, and active scouting isn't really going to do a lot. Yeah, maybe I light up the T-54 in the distance and my teammates get one shot on him, but that's not going to do a whole lot. Now when the tortoise and the T-25-2 start advancing, I can start shooting a little bit. Because when they start advancing more, they're going to show more of their side armor to me, which they weren't before. The tortoise was basically full-on straight. The T-25/2 doesn't really matter, but he's not the target I really want to go for either. Here I'm peeking out at a kind of a non-standard spot. I don't want to go directly to the bush because I know they're pretty much aimed on the bush, so I go a little bit off even though there's no cover and I know I'm going to be spotted. It's simply due to me wanting to be a little bit unpredictable. I load up the heat round not because I'm going to shoot the tortoise. Again, he's just too tough of a target for me. If Artie or somebody on the hill can shoot him, that's great. However, this Conqueror, Centurion, whatever it is, I can definitely pen the back of his turret with a heat round, and so I take the shot and risk getting shot at. I've definitely overstayed my welcome here. You'll notice that I have no backup on the hill behind me. It's basically just me. However, this Conqueror is at 9%. There's no reason not to finish him off. That's worth getting lit up. There are some times where it's like, well, yeah, I'm going to knock the tortoise down from 100% to 90%. That's not worth exposing your position. But removing a Tier 9 tank in a Tier 9 battle from the field and getting lit up, absolutely that's worth it, and you should take that shot. I'm retreating because, as I said before, there's not really any point left. I can't light the area for my teammates because there are just no more teammates in the area. And the T-54 and the tortoise pretty much outclass what I can do. So I need to go find a better sniping position, or I need to go find a place where I can light enemy tanks for the enemy. So I pop up over here, and it's not because I think this is a permanent home. It has no camo, and even though the camo on the Wheezy 131 is excellent, they're going to be able to spot me. It's more of taking stock of the situation and extending my view range over the city and seeing where there's going to be an opportunity. I accidentally get lit here and shot and set on fire, so that was probably a stupid move by me. So I'm kind of waffling around trying to be useful. However, I realize that, you know what, I just can't be useful at this part. I don't want to get in a knife fight with that T-54. There's a JT and a Tortoise doing Overwatch. That's going to spell my doom, and you can't do anything productive if you're dead, so I start heading north. I notice that north is in definite trouble, and they could probably use those tanks up on the A line to be lit before they get to us. So you'll notice the game situation is fairly not great. We have lost our artillery, we've lost pretty much both flanks, and our teammates are probably not very good because the positions that they've picked in the beginning, they're still hanging around. That does not inspire a lot of confidence. So hanging around up north, I'm trying to spot some things. However, I'm kind of deciding here if I really want to commit north or not. And the conclusion that I come to is no. So on my right, there's that little chasm, so I can run into the corner and get in a tree or a bush and spot something. I decide, you know what, that's probably a little bit too risky, because if I'm spotted, I'm pretty sure I'm dead. So since I really can't do anything up north, I'm going to shift down south and see if there's anything over there that I can do. It looks like a stalemate for the most part. However, the JT has wound his way into J0. Perhaps I can get some side shots on him. As I travel, I turn my turret in the direction of possible incoming fire. The turret, while not thick, does have angles, and there's always the chance for an auto bounce. As I arrive on top of the hill, I realize this is actually a great position for me. They're lighting the enemy, and now it's my job to shoot them, which really feels weird for a light tank. However, this is one of the roles that you have to fulfill, and that's why the Wheezy 131 is so good at its job, is because it's a wonderful sniper. It has about 2,000 damage per minute. The gun is good enough effective aim time and has good enough penetration, so this is actually a really good spot for me. Looking at the minimap just a little bit more, I realize, wow, I know where every tank on the battlefield is. There are 2 in the north, now 1 in the north, and 3 down south, and Artie, so I'm going to actually move to flank. Because I worked on staying alive throughout the game, this opportunity opened itself to me. I could not have gotten to this flanking opportunity if I had gone ham and died right away. So the Tortoise, who gave me a lot of problems earlier in the game because I just couldn't effectively damage him from the front, I actually take him out from the side. Now the T-54 and the T-25-2 are moving to get a shot on me, because when you're a light tank, you are apparently the most desirable thing on the battlefield, and so I duck into cover to make sure that I don't die. We have a tiny advantage, 11-9, however, I'm not that confident in my teammates. The reason why is because we have 3 tanks in the north, and there's literally only 1 tank left in the north. They should figure this out. We take out the T-54 and the T-25/2, and it's all over but the Cryon. We can swarm the IS-3 in the north, and Artie's not a big deal. So I hope that when you're in a light tank, you try to survive. You retreat when necessary. You let other people light tanks for you when you see the advantage, and you snipe and deal what damage you can. But mostly you live to the end game. Don't suicide scout. You live to the end game where you can make a huge difference. Hope you learned something. Happy hunting.